right, hello, welcome to another Let's Talk. So, in this one, we're going to be checking out the details of the brand new and improved PlayStation Plus. It's basically a relaunch of PlayStation Plus. They're getting rid of PlayStation Now. And in all honesty, PlayStation Now was actually a great set that went along with PlayStation Plus. You could download games, unlike the popular opinion that a lot of the Xbox and PC fan base like to throw around. Yes, PlayStation Now, you could download games. Anything other than a PS3 title, you could download and you could actually play it straight off your hard drive. I don't know. So when PlayStation Now first launched, it didn't have the ability to download, but then that was like maybe 2 years into PlayStation Now. PlayStation Now has been around for like 10 years. Like a couple of years in, they actually added in the ability to be able to download then PS4 titles. So anyways, let's get into the details on the brand new and improved PlayStation Plus, which is now PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now squished together essentially, and then a few more extra things added on top. Launches in June. All new PlayStation Plus launches in June with 700 games and more value than ever. 700 is a little bit of a weak number, I will admit. So anyways, we're gonna judge Sony and hold them accountable for their actions. Okay, PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Now coming together. Players can choose from 3 flexible options since launching PlayStation Plus in 2010. SIE, aka Sony Interactive Entertainment, has been at the forefront of innovation with game subscription services. We were thrilled to be the first console membership service that included a refreshed library of games to PlayStation Plus, which is very true. PlayStation Plus was doing brand new, I do believe, it was PS3 and PSP titles way before Games with Gold even started up. And also PlayStation Now was out before Game Pass was. So if you are an Xbox fanboy going, the hell is Sony going to do? Sony's been ahead of this curve forever. Today we are pleased to share with you official news about changes coming to our PlayStation subscription service. This June, we're bringing together PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Now, and all new PlayStation Plus subscription service. June. We are in March right now, so in 3 months' time. Okay. Price of customers across 3 membership tiers globally. Our focus is on providing high-quality, curated content with a diverse portfolio of games. Below is an overview of the 3 membership tiers. Now, this is the most important, interesting pieces of information is right here. So, the Essentials, which is technically just your $60 a month. This is basically just your Plus, PlayStation Plus. So PlayStation Plus Essentials provides the same benefits that PlayStation Plus members are getting today, such as 2 monthly downloadable games. So that would be your PS4 monthly downloadable games, exclusive discounts, right? Your PlayStation Plus sales that go on, cloud storage for save games. I never use that because I actually piggyback off from Viper's accounts, because same household, so we game share and everything. Online multiplayer access. So yeah, this is just essential PlayStation Plus, what you're already paying for right now, what you're already getting right now. That's not going anywhere. That's not changing. It's just going to become named the PlayStation Plus Essentials. For a price of $60 yearly. 10, 25, and 60 yearly. So, and then of course you have your other pricings in your other currencies worldwide. Okay, PlayStation Plus Extra, which is pretty much the extra is pretty much what PlayStation Now is morphing into the PlayStation Plus. Benefits and provides all the benefits from the essential tier. So this tier up here, but also adds a catalog of 400 of the most essential PS4 and 5 games. So the PS5 has been out for roughly 2 years now. I think we're coming up on, Jesus, it's already been like 2 years. And we have a big old library of PS5 games, and a lot of them are exclusives, depending on who you ask. The PS5 has no games. Okay, sure. Yeah, you keep telling yourself that, including blockbuster hits from our PlayStation Studios catalog and third party titles. Now, this PlayStation Studios catalog is well worth this tier right here, especially if you can get them for a low price like that. PlayStation Studios catalog is absolutely fucking amazing. It actually blows out of the water anything that I've seen from the PC side of things or the Xbox side of things. PlayStation first party studios, just the adventures and the AAA quality that goes into it, along with all the brand new PS5 features and the controller and everything. They do one hell of a job making those games pop. And it's not just so much of like a PlayStation fanboy talking up the PlayStation Studio. No, it is like the feeling that you get going on those adventures. There's a reason why Last of Us Part 2 still gets talked about now. There's a reason why Returnal gets talked about so much still. There's a reason why God of War gets talked about so much. There's a reason why Ratchet and Clank, the newest one, gets talked about. A lot of people really love Sackboy or Little Big Planet, whichever way you want to call that. There's so much diversity in titles there, and there's so many titles. So all that stuff will be going to PS5. This or PlayStation Plus extras with the 400 of the most enjoyable. Now, 400 is probably going to be roughly like 350 or something of the. I mean, it's going to be even more than that. It's going to be like 370 with like maybe 20 PS5 games because PS5 is still new. Technically, it's still pretty brand new. But this is cool. This is cool. For $100 a month. So I think that's the tier. That's what I should have access to is 4 and 5. You're not going to see brand new PS5 games be put into PlayStation Plus. There's a reason for that, because PlayStation would rather be able to fully fund their developers. I've been saying this since the very get-go. Game Pass is great, but it's great for like smaller developers, not AAA big budget people. The only reason why Gears of War ended up on there is because Microsoft, the higher ups Microsoft, funded that stuff to be there. If they didn't, Gears 5 would have never showed up on Game Pass day one and all that stuff. Same thing with Microsoft Flight Sim too. Outside of that, I mean, what Forza? Yeah, that might like say that's the thing. Microsoft doesn't have a whole lot of first party titles that they can just go, here it is on Game Pass. So they can just I mean, they don't have a whole lot of first party titles, so they can do that. PlayStation has a lot more of those. So doing it as in $100 subscription service tier, I mean, they would be probably making some money back, but they'd be making a lot more money if they sold it individually. If you are going to complain about that, of like, oh, you have to pay full price for a game, you shouldn't even be on the PlayStation platform anyway. You should be over on the Xbox, because basically what you're saying is, I don't care to fund a new game in the series being made. So I like God of War, but I don't want to buy God of War for $60 because I don't care for paying. I want it cheap and I want it on a service and this and that. Well, how in the hell are they going to make the new game if you're not actually fully funding the production of the new game? Where's the money going to come from? Always keep that in mind whenever you're trying to make that dumbass argument. That's the dumbest argument that anybody can make. Well, it should be on the subscription service tier. Anyways, okay, so PlayStation Plus Premium service. Now we're getting into the big bucks. Provides all the benefits from essential and extra tiers. So everything that we just read up here, which is PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now, essentially put into one. Okay, then adds up to 340 additional games. Now this is where I'm like, I don't know about this. 340 additional games, including PS3 games available via cloud streaming. So that's a big bummer. I was really hoping they were going to give us like a PS3 emulator to put on the PS5, and then we could run the PS3. Like just give us fucking a version, or actually like hire the guys that make PC SX3 emulator. That thing runs so smooth. It runs smoother than the damn PS3 itself. Um, and just use their emulator on the PS5. Like pay them for their like God work that they're doing, God tier work that they're doing. A catalog of beloved classic games available in both streaming and downloadable options from the original PlayStation 1, 2, and PSP. Okay, so I read that wrong earlier. So a streaming and downloadable option of original PS1, PS2, PSP generation titles. Cool. So everything except for PS3 is going to be still downloadable on through this service. That makes me more inclined to be like, yeah, let's check it out. The problem is with this, and some I don't know, some could possibly call this like, oh, it's piracy or whatever. But if you essentially have one of these, if you essentially have, let me make sure I'm clicking on the right thing here. If you essentially have a PlayStation Classic with a little flash drive in it, you have the whole library sitting here. You can also put PSP games on this. You can't do PS2 games on this. You have to get the bigger one that can run higher end graphics and everything. PS2 games, though, if you have a PS3 sitting there, you already have access to the full library of PS2 and PS3 games. At this point, it's kind of shareware. Yes, I get it. They want to sell the old library and everything, but at this point, it's like, my God, we can damn near play PS1 games in a web browser. They work on phones. I mean, you gotta give us but the problem is, the reason why it's only 340 games, like, in all honesty, I couldn't recommend this. I would recommend going out and picking up a little emulator unit and running PS1 games off from that, and burning your old games if you have them on disc and whatnot. There's also ways you can find the games all over the place. I'm not going to say there isn't. I would highly recommend doing that, though, because they play just like they did on the original systems. Now, if this was 340 games and they were HD remasters of the titles, and that's what we were getting to the subscription service, 100%, $120, that'd be awesome. No problem. If it's three, so but here's, oh boy, here's the other thing too. Okay, so 340 additional games. We don't know exactly. So the licensing issue with this is a lot of games that were on the PS1 were third-party titles that PlayStation doesn't own. A lot of games that used to be PlayStation owned are not PlayStation owned anymore. So this 340, I doubt like hell you're going to be seeing Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Klonoa, what else? Mortal Kombat might show up there. It's going to be just games. I could see Sly Cooper Collection being this, Legend Dragoon, SOCOM Collection. I could definitely be seeing those games coming to like modern day consoles. But again, you have to really look out. If you have a question about a game of whether or not it's going to show up in this list, go and look up the license owners. If the license owners say that it is, and you have to really, so okay, I'll do it, because just saying it does not show it. So let's say the mascot, the old mascot, okay? And we all know this is kind of the case. Because there was a big ass meme going around. Okay, so Crash Bandicoot. Is Crash Bandicoot going to be showing up in this? No. The reason why is because the official Crash Bandicoot social media channel has posted a teaser revealing the next title being Crash 4. The game was released. So if we go to Crash 4 being the latest title, right? The publisher is Activision. We all know that Activision is now owned by Microsoft. There was a big buyout and everything, and all the stuff with all the Activision CEOs and all that stuff. All that stuff happened, and then Activision got bought out by, oh god, it's in here somewhere. Where is it? Essentially, Activision Blizzard got bought out by Microsoft. So are those licenses going to show up on a PlayStation platform, subscription-based platform like this? No, they are not. I hate it. I absolutely hate it that is the way it works, but that's the way it works. something like I said, something like a SOCOM or Legend of Dragoon or something, where people have been really clamoring for those titles. I do believe like half of the RPGs that were on the PS1 2 era, like okay, Max Payne, I could see showing up in this because Rockstar puts their games on everything. Um, maybe Bully, maybe the original Red Dead. I do believe those are original Red Dead. Might no, that's a PS3 game. So yeah, something like a Manhunt, possibly Max Payne. Anything that is 1, 2, or PSP, like okay, Monster Hunter PSP games. Those Uncharted, I would say that that would most likely show up because that's Sony. But you have to think like that. You have to think like that. Who owns the license rights to these titles? Because that's what this essentially all is. Is it's a bundle of license rights that you are paying $120 for Sony to essentially hold the license rights for that year. If this sells well, they can get more. If it doesn't sell well, then they might lose some titles. And that's where you start seeing Game Pass. If you pay attention, look at how many games leave Game Pass and how many games they get on Game Pass. Then you'll see how well they've actually sold. It's a surefire way of telling whether or not they're making their money or not. They have probably just as many games coming in as they have leaving. So that means to me that Game Pass does not sell as well as they like. It doesn't blow up in sales like Microsoft tries to say. They break even with it. They have just enough cash there to renew certain licenses, and then they go, well, we've had this license in here for a couple few months. Let's get rid of it, or a year or whatever. Let's get rid of that one, and we'll take that cash. We'll put it over here to this license rights, and then you see that game drop in. They've been doing a lot on Game Pass. They've been doing a lot with Square Enix. I've been noticing that there's a lot of Final Fantasy titles. PlayStation does the same thing. Square Enix works with everyone. So I would really love to see Final Fantasy 13 is the only one in the lineup that is not showing up. I would love to be able to download that damn game onto the PS5 or 4 or whatever. That's not happening because it's available via cloud streaming. Unfortunately, that would have been a big selling point. PS3 games being able to download them onto the PS5. Still not happening. Mark Cerny has said something about it's possible, but they have to really work on it. So yeah, that's one of the major things that you have to really keep in mind. We're going almost 20 minutes in. All right, let me see here. PlayStation Plus Deluxe select markets. For markets without cloud streaming, PlayStation Plus Deluxe will be offered at a lower price compared to Premium and includes a catalog of beloved classic games from the original. Yep. So if you're, I don't know what select markets they're talking about, but I guess there is some internet providers that will not allow cloud streaming, probably a bandwidth cap issue. Interesting. So then you get everything except for PS3 games because you can download everything except for PS3 games. The new extra and premium tiers represent a major you have evolution for PlayStation Plus. With these tiers, our key focus is to ensure that hundreds of games we offer will include the best quality content that sets us apart. At launch, we plan to include titles such as Death Stranding. Yep. Okay. Death Stranding, God of War, Marvel's Spider-Man, Spider-Man Miles Morales, MK11, and Returnal. All these games are in great standings. They're always on sale. So that's another thing too. Another point to make is if you start seeing so the Capcom sales always happen, the Japan sales, Platinum Games has a lot of sales going on. You barely ever see From Software games go on sale. From Software won't be in this lineup. If you're thinking like Demon Souls for streaming, not happening. Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, I don't think that's happening either. Could happen, but I don't think so. I would like to see it happen, but I don't think so. But Death Stranding, God of War, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, MK11. So MK11 is WB is publisher, made by NRS, NetherRealm Studios. This one is not mind-blowing that it's in there because they have been working. So PlayStation owns Evo, which means you're going to see a good selection of fighting games in there because they want to keep that Evo bond strong. Returnal, again, PlayStation Studios titles. So yeah, a lot of these are, like I said, a lot of these are PS4 titles. I would say this one, Marvel Spider-Man and Miles Morales, I'm going to go on a limb and say those might be PS5 titles. PS4 and 5, depending on which system you have. You'll probably be able to select which one you want to download, which is cool. The new God of War Ragnarok will not be in this service, and that we need to get to that also. When the new PlayStation Plus service launches, PlayStation Now will transform into PlayStation Plus offerings and will no longer be available as a standalone service. Yeah, configure that. Now customers will migrate over to premium with no increase. Yeah, so I'll be able to show off the $100 tier. As this is a massive launch effort, we're rolling out the new PlayStation Plus offering and phase regional approach. In June timeframe, we'll begin an initial launch in several markets in Asia. Okay, so they're going to start in Japan first, and then they're going to roll it out to North America. That's expected because PlayStation is Japan. Rest of the world where PlayStation Plus is offered, we aim to have most PlayStation Network territories live with our new PlayStation Plus game service by the end of the first half of 2022. Okay. All right. So yeah, by the end of June, everybody should be in on this. It might even happen like maybe a month before June, possibly. It seems like June is like by June we will have this, but you could see it a little bit earlier than that. Just you have to keep on a lookout around like April, May time frame. It's probably more or less the end of May going into June. We also plan to extend our cloud streaming benefits to additional markets, and we'll provide more details at a later date. Building upon more than 25 years of experience in gaming innovation, this change to our subscription service highlights our continued effort to evolve our networks of services business to match our customer preferences. All new PlayStation Plus, we're focused on delivering a compelling gaming subscription service with curated content from exclusive PlayStation Studio teams, third parties, partners. The newly enhanced PlayStation Plus will Yep. We're providing an early look at our PlayStation Plus service today. Plan to share more okay, so there's going to be a PlayStation Plus. That's what this is. We're planning to share more with you closer to launch. So we're probably going to be seeing a PlayStation Plus happen a PlayStation State of Play. Probably a State of Play, I'm going to say roughly around May. We'll probably end up seeing a State of Play showcasing like all the changes with this. Now, there's one other piece of information that goes along with this that we actually need to check out here, and this is Games Industry Insider. Hopefully this is quoted and wrote correctly to share exactly what he was talking about, but there was a interesting thing in this. So this is head of PlayStation right here, Jim Ryan. We feel like we are in a good virtuous cycle with the studios. We're where the investment delivers success, which enables yet more investment, which delivers yet more success. We like that cycle, and we think our games like that cycle. Like I said, they invest all the cash into the studios. They give them sometimes even more cash to invest in. Sony funds their studios properly. That's the reason why you get such good AAA quality titles. If everything goes day one, which he actually talks about, in terms of putting our games onto the service or any of our service upon the release, as you well know, this is not a road that we've done in the past, and it's not a road that we're going to go down with our new service. We feel if we were to do that with the games that we make at PlayStation Studios, the virtuous cycle will be broken. Exactly. If it's not broke, don't try and fix it. The level of investment that we need to make in our studios would not be possible. Exactly, because people would not be buying the games at full price, so you don't have the full funding of that game. If that game does really well, then they have a big giant pie of cash to work with for the sequel. I don't know why people don't get this in their head. I think it's just because people want everything for as cheap as they possibly can, but they don't think about the quality of it. Or they just don't care about the quality of it. I don't know. And we think the knockoff effect of the quality of games that we make would not be something that gamers want. Absolutely. Most AAA publishers are reluctant to put their recent games into subscription services. Counter argument is that by putting your latest title into PlayStation Plus or Game Pass, you're potentially widening your audience. Somewhat. If people are going to be interested in the game, they're going to pick it up. If there's a reason why people still come into my streams and they go, is it worth it? 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 And I hear that like 1,000 times when a new game comes out. Which is like, at 5 minutes in, you don't know. You have to watch it. Like the best way of figuring out if a game is worth it and you really want to check it out, watch a streamer play it for like 10, 15, 20 minutes. The way the world is changing so very quickly at the moment, nothing is forever. Who would have said 4 years ago that we would see AAA PlayStation IP being published on PC? That's a very good point. We started that last year with Horizon Zero Dawn, then Days Gone, and now God of War. Was it last year? I could have sworn that was like a couple of years ago. A hugely polished and accomplished PC version of that game. We've had great critical success and great commercial success, and everybody has had their piece. Now, I have no problem with games going over to PC. I have done so many streams where I modded the PC version of a game, and it made it so cool. FF7 remake, Days Gone. I've, you can see a bunch of different games I've done that were PlayStation Studios titles that I modded on PC, and modding them to have different clothing options or different looks on the characters and such. Also being able to do screen filters if a game comes out and it looks a little faded because of like internal HDR effects or whatever that the game might have. PC modding is so great. But anyways, yeah, this is definitely okay. In comparison to Xbox offerings, PS Plus premium tiers carry a highly cost. It is a fact for our services, at least, that the great majority of people subscribe through a 12-month subscription. It's more than 2/3 who subscribe that way. That is an area of value proposition that we have looked at very hard, and we are delivering is what we are delivering is that for a 12-month subscriber, and that is the great majority of people. Yeah, I would definitely say like you pay for it once a year and then you kind of forget about it. It's great. I mean that's a great way of going about it. But it's there's still some popular PS5 titles and PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium, including Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Returnal. Right. Yeah, that's right. Returnal is only PS5. I keep forgetting which games are actually only PS5. So, yeah, Spider-Man Miles Morales is going to be that. Probably the regular Spider-Man also. It's probably going to be the bundle. But outside of the first party, Sony says every major publisher is present in the service, and conversation continues to go on. Yeah. I can tell you right now, if this does really well, if this does really well for the third-party titles, then yeah, they'll jump on board because they'll see, oh, there's profit to be made there. Also, shout out to Ghostwire Tokyo. But yeah, that's the brand new PlayStation Plus stuff. This video ran a little bit long, I know, almost 30 minutes, but it's there's so much information to unpack here. There's 3 tiers and plus the little Jim Ryan review and everything. So my thoughts overall is this is good. This is good news. Am I super psyched about the tier 3 $120 only getting a very select few PS1, 2, and 3 titles? Not so much. I would much rather just play it on emulator and have like full on, I'd much just rather just kind of go I can run them on my PS3, I can run them on my PlayStation Classic. There we go. I can just click it on, play it, done. Essentially, you're getting the same thing here, but you're getting a very limited library. And that's where they need to really combat it, is the limited library. But there's only so much they can do. There's only so many publishers that want to play ball with all this stuff. And there's so many publishers now that hold all of these licenses, the license rights. There's only so much PlayStation can do. So it's not really PlayStation's fault. I think they would pay for it if they could. It's a lot of times it's like I said, Activision holds a ton of license rights from 30 years ago. They just got bought out by Microsoft. You think Microsoft is going to let the competition have their license rights on the competitor's subscription service? No. Nintendo also holds, I would love to see Bayonetta show up on the PlayStation underneath the subscription service. Not happening. Klonoa, that started on PlayStation. It's not happening. They don't own the license rights for it, unfortunately. So that's where I think that's where I mean, Xbox has the same issue. You know, there's only so many games that are on the Xbox Game Pass that are third-party titles. If you actually pay attention and see, it's a lot of indie games on Game Pass. It's a good subscription service. It works really well. They gave me a lot of hours on my PC through Game Pass, but again, you know, there's only so much on there. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap this one up. That's PlayStation Plus news. We'll probably see a state of play, so I'll be there for that. Also, if they do announce that, I'm guessing they're probably going to. And yeah, any other updates for all this PlayStation Plus stuff, I'll be back with a new video, Let's Talk video, and check it out. So, anyways, go and check out the rest of the channel for a whole bunch of video content. Of course, make sure and hit that like, the share the video around, hit the bell if you want to know when I put up new videos. And also, did I say subscribe? I think I did. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by. And as always, I will see ya next time.